I think it worked. Sorry about that, you guys. Sorry. All right. So thanks for hanging with me. I'm, you know, this is how it is. This is how it is sometimes. Um, so I know some of you guys had planned to be here this morning. So I'm gonna just kind of chat for a quick second. And they were being quiet before I started, right? So anyway, if you're not in Florida, be happy. This has been quite a week, um, and of course we've got all the our other craziness that we're dealing with as well. So today's practice is just going to be a little bit of a stress reliever, and except that these dogs are making me more stress. All right, you're in. Go, 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 go. In. Okay. So yeah, just a little bit of hope and a little bit of opening the front of the body and burning off the crazy. So hopefully that's what you need this morning. If you were looking for a quieter practice, of course you can peek over and find another video or something. But this is where we're going to go with it. And I apologize, I'm still a little not focused. So let's see if we can't fix that. So remember to listen to your body. And if you do need something different in one place or another, take it. You're home. You can do whatever you want. Nobody's watching. Right? If you have a block or maybe a stack of books or a decent, stiff isn't the word I want, firm pillow, you can use that as well. So just to kind of have available for you, use props whenever you need to use props. If it makes your practice better, use it. Don't feel like it's a crutch, it's a tool. And we can do lots of really cool things with props that you won't be able to access on your own. So don't, never feel concerned about using a prop. So let's begin here with the feet up underneath the hip bones. Check in that your toes point forward, root down into the four corners of the feet, and feel active in your legs. So really pressing down into the floor, lifting your pelvic floor up. So those two actions are in opposite directions. Lifting the pelvic floor, lower belly in and up. We're tall through the sides, so hopefully you just gained a couple inches of height. Relax into your shoulders, let your arms hang at your sides, already widening the collarbones and opening your chest, even here. Nothing fancy. Go ahead and close your eyes and envision moving the bottom tips of your ears back, just enough to feel the weight of your head over your shoulders, shoulders over your hips, and your hips over your ankles. And then just take a moment to be present in your body, in this place. Begin to notice your breath and take a moment just to be aware and to be thankful of that breath. Gradually begin to expand into each breath. And eventually find that full, smooth, just beyond comfortable place. Remember that every pose, even the more challenging ones, should feel a little bit like this place, right? You got these lovely breaths. The mind is quiet. You're in this place between effort and ease. So let's see if we can just keep that going. With the next inhale, we're going to take the arms and stretch them up toward the ceiling. And then let's exhale, bring them back down. We'll do it again. One more time. Come back to the top. And when you get there, interlace the fingers. You can rotate the palms toward the ceiling if you like. Exhale, tip yourself over to the right. And then inhale to bring yourself back up to the center. And exhale over to the left. So with the breath here like that, side to side, keeping the shoulders away from the ears. And staying steady in through your feet as the upper body moves. So you can gently deepen the stretch as you go. Let's go once more on each side. When you're back to center, just go ahead and exhale the arms back to the sides. So we'll gently rest the hands on the thighs. If you need to lean a little bit, go ahead and lean. With the exhalation here, we're going to come forward into a half fold. And then bend into the knees, and with the inhale, roll your spine back up to standing again. So exhale as you come forward, and inhale as you roll back up. Take a few flows like that. And then let's come over into that half fold and hold this one. So kind of hanging out in the middle here. Try to stay even on the four corners of the feet, keeping the hips over the ankles. It's easier to sort of lean back or bend the knees. Try and find that alignment of standing here. And this might be a big hamstring stretch, and if it is, you're done. But if not, see if you can work yourself into a little bit deeper stretch. Using the breath still, inhale where you are. And then exhale a tiny little bit deeper into that hamstring stretch. Coming back up into that halfway place again on the inhale. And then exhaling a little bit deeper yet. So in and out like that. And again, leaning on the thighs as much as you need to lean, keeping the shoulders back. And when you find the knees want to bend or the shoulders want to round, that's probably the deepest part of your stretch. So we're going to take just a couple more breaths like that, finding your stretch. And then holding. The hands can rest on the thighs, to the shins, to the floor, to your toes, wherever they go, just keeping the shoulders back and the legs straight here. From there, let's go ahead and make our way into all fours. So coming down to hands and knees, bringing the wrists under the shoulders, spread those fingers nice and wide, and make sure the weight is evenly balanced on the four corners of the hands. Belly still supporting, knees underneath the hips here. With the breath here on the inhale, drop the belly toward the floor. And then exhale, round your spine toward the ceiling. Connected to the breath, let's go in and out. Maybe moving a little deeper into the spine as you go. One more flow. And then find a middle. Instead of being in this tabletop position, let's go ahead and gently transition back into child's pose. So take your time getting here, and this seems like a nothing pose, right? But it's a nice little stretch. So sitting your hips back a little bit more, maybe taking the knees closer or further apart, stretching the arms out or stacking your hands maybe, and resting your head on your hands instead of the floor. Find what feels good. If they're not already, go ahead and extend the arms out long in front. Reaching away from the body as far as you can go. Lifting the palms away from the floor, but keeping the fingertips down. Pull the shoulder blades together on the back a bit, and then see if you can actually inch your fingertips a little bit further away than you thought you could. Keep sitting the hips back, feeling that nice stretch up the side body all the way into the arms. We want to keep the head where it is. So right in the center here, keeping the hands roughly the same distance apart. We're going to walk the hands over to the right. Still stretching away from the body. Maybe if you have the flexibility, that left arm kind of comes behind your head. And then walk them over to the left. And then bring them back to the middle. Keep the reach and plant the four corners of the hands again. From here, let's make our way into a down dog. See if you can keep that distance in the arms, though, from the hips, pressing down into the floor, lifting the hips toward the ceiling. Allow yourself to wiggle a little bit here at first. And then allowing yourself to sink into it. So pressing through the heels, pressing your chest back. And for a moment, instead of sinking the heels toward the floor, go ahead and come up on the toes and take the heels over to the left. Keep your right hand planted on the floor, pressing the chest back toward the thighs. And then bring it back to center and do the same thing on the second side. So the heels drop over to the right. Press really firmly into the left hand. And then come on back to the middle again and drop on down to your knees, back into child's pose. Everybody good? Hi, guys. All right. So let's lift back into down dog. Pressing the chest back, keep the hips level and lift the right leg away from the floor. Pressing through your heels. Lifting just the right hip. Take the toes nice and high. You can bend the knee if you want to bend the knee, keeping the shoulders level and the chest pressing back toward the left thigh. Let's release that side. And then do the same thing on the second side. Lift the left leg. Extend through the heels, press the chest back. And then open up the hip, bending at the knee. Releasing that side, back to your down dog. And then walking the feet forward into standing fold. Bring the feet right back up underneath the hip bones, just like we started before. And here, if you'd like a little bend in the knee, go ahead. We're going to take the fingers and interlace them behind the lower back, keeping the palms facing each other. Little baby bend in the elbows. Pull your shoulder blades together on your back, and then stretch the knuckles away from the shoulders. So maybe up off the lower back, maybe not. Keeping the shoulders away from the ears. One more big breath. And then release the arms. Again, that little bend in the knees can stay here if you'd like. We're going to take the fingers this time and interlace them behind the neck. Bringing your elbows toward each other up underneath the chin. Make sure you can breathe, right? That's more important than whether your elbows touch or not. And then let yourself hang here. Releasing the fingers. Let's slide the hands back up to the thighs and bring yourself into that half fold, kind of where we started there. From there, bending into the knees, finding chair. So the feet are even, the belly's in, the tailbone's tucked under, the shoulders are down and back, and then the hands go where you want the hands to go, wherever. Nice big breaths. Feeling strong and stable. On an inhale, we're going to stretch the ceiling, and then exhale, release the arms. Okay. So from the top of the mat here, let's inhale, reach up. And then exhale, take yourself into the fold again. Inhale, come halfway up, support on the thighs if you feel like you need. Exhale, step the right foot back into a lunge. So let's wiggle around into the hips a little bit. And you can definitely drop the back knee if you like. So find a center and imagine pulling the legs together up underneath. We're going to take the left leg straight and fold nice and deep over that left leg. Keeping the hips square, the shoulders back, the spine nice and long. And then bend back into the knee and let's step back to down dog. With an inhale, sliding forward, come to plank. Taking the knees if you'd like. Make sure the belly's supporting, bending into the elbows, drop to the belly. Hands next to the side ribs here, rolling into the shoulders. Nice, easy little baby cobra. Exhale, releasing that, pressing up and back into our down dog again. And then stepping the right foot forward. Making sure the toes make it up to the top of the mat so the knee is stacking over the ankle. And then the same idea over here, just kind of wiggling around a little bit. Finding our center, pulling the legs toward each other. Let's take the right leg straight. Straightish, prop if you need, drop that back knee if that's you. Right, that block can be pretty useful here if you can't touch the floor. And then let's go ahead and bend into the knee again, and we'll step forward into fold. Halfway up, inhale. And then exhale back over. All the way up, reaching for the ceiling this time. Big inhale. And exhale, release. So same idea again. Inhaling as you lift up. Exhale yourself over into the fold. Halfway up on your inhale. And this time, exhale the left foot back first. Finding that stability, so sweeping the legs toward each other, same idea over here. Dropping the back knee if that's you. We're going to take the right hand to the hip and add in a little twist. Rotating the belly, the side ribs, the shoulder around. Press through the back heel and extend through the crown of the head. Let's release it. Step back to down dog. Inhale and slide forward into plank. Exhale to the belly, elbows tight to the sides. Hands next to the side ribs, roll into the shoulders. Pull like you're pulling your belly button to the top of the mat. And then release up and back for down dog. And we'll step forward with the right foot. Left foot. Happens. So finding the alignment with the knee, the stability with the hips, add in your twist. Left hand coming to the hip, rotating around. Releasing the twist and stepping forward into the fold again. Halfway up. Folding over. Reach all the way up. And exhale, release. Let's go one more like that. Inhaling and lift. Exhale into your fold. Halfway up. Right foot back, lunge. And then again, finding that stability, so that might mean dropping the back knee. Climb up on the thigh, lifting the upper body. Hang on if you need, extend the arms if you'd like, making that back leg straight and strong. Hips square, shoulders down and back. We're going to release that back over into the lunge and step back to our down dog. Inhale, slide forward. Exhale to the belly. Inhale as you roll, pull, maybe a little press. Elbows are to the waist, the shoulders are away from the ears. Releasing up and back to down dog. And then stepping forward with the right foot. Toes all the way up. Climbing up when you're ready. Finding stable, extending the arms if you want. And then releasing back over into the lunge. We'll step forward, fold. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale back over. And then bring it all the way up. Releasing at the top. All right. So, how about a nice big step back with the right foot? Having trouble right and left. So left toes point forward, right toes are cut in a little bit. The body is open to the side of the mat, not the front, as much as possible. And the back toes will dictate where this back hip goes, right? To a point. Let's extend the arms. Reaching over the left toes as far as we can, and then letting the left hand fall and the right hand lift. You can lean on the leg, you can lean on the block, you could lean on a chair seat. Keeping the front of the body open rather than worrying about reaching the floor. Let's take another big breath. We're going to move into a balance pose here. So bring the right hand to your hip. Try to keep the shoulders stacked. Bending into the left knee, take the left hand forward of the toes and begin to hop in, lifting those toes away from the floor when you're ready. Don't worry about high up off the floor is balance. Think stacking the hips, stacking the shoulders, looking up if that's not challenging enough. And then bend back into the knees, slide back into your triangle. Hinging up on an inhale. And stepping back to the top of the mat. So take your time with that. Balance can be tricky sometimes. Take your time and just do what you can do. So big step back with the left. And again, getting the body as open to the side as it can be. Extending the arms, reaching forward and hinging over. Leaning as much or as little as your body needs. Bringing the left hand to the hip, bend into the right knee, and bring that hand forward of the foot. You can move it around. It's not stuck in stone at this point. Hopping in until you're ready to lift it away. And ideally, the right leg is straight. You can be propped up on your block here as well. But we want to think stacking the hips and shoulders. Let's take one more breath. And then move back into our triangle. Inhaling and hinging back up to the top again. Stepping back to the top of the mat. I'm done with that. So that nice big step back with the right foot again. Left toes pointing forward, right toes cut in, same idea. This time bending into the knee, the left knee. Looking for the big toe beyond the knee here. And again, that back foot dictates where your hips go. So if you're feeling too much of a stretch, turn your toes in a little bit more. Extending the arms for warrior two. Bringing the right hand to the back of the right thigh. Turn the left palm toward the ceiling and then reach up. Pulling the shoulder blades together on the back, let your chest open and lift toward the ceiling. Keeping the tailbone tucked if you're feeling any sensation there. Keeping the arm in line with the ear so we're not just flopping the head back. Let's make our way back to warrior two. And then the fun part, step back to the top of the mat. Sometimes it takes the arms. So let's go the second side. Big step back with the left. Check out your feet. Make sure they're where you need them to be. When you're ready, bend into the knee and look for the big toe. So feeling the sensation in the legs. When you're ready, extending the arms. Left hand to the back of the thigh, right palm turning up, reaching toward the ceiling, but then dropping the shoulder back down. Drawing the shoulder blades together on the back, open and lift the chest. And coming back to the middle. Stepping back to the top of the mat. Sometimes it works out. So one more balance pose here. We're going to see about adding in a little bit of the chest opener at the same time. So we're going to keep the feet fairly simple. If you need to be near a wall, just because that's your comfort level, go right ahead. On or off your mat, whatever you need. All the weight over into the right foot here. Lifting the left knee. And then just opening at the knee, bringing the foot to the inside of the right leg. Your toes can be at the floor. Maybe you're just at the calf. Maybe you're up to the inner thigh. But avoid being on your knee. Press the foot into the leg and the leg back into the foot. Tucking the tailbone so we're standing tall. If this is as good as it gets, it's still nice and open, right? But maybe, see if you can take the fingers behind the lower back. Interlacing back there again and pulling the shoulder blades together, stretching the knuckles away from the shoulders down toward that right heel. The chest lifts toward the ceiling, so there's lots of space in the spine. And you can gently look up, but avoid just dropping your head back. Big full breaths. On the inhale, bringing yourself back to a neutral place, releasing the hands and then the foot. Same idea to the second side here. So taking all the weight left, lifting the right leg, opening at the knee and finding where that foot needs to be. Right? If you go too wide, it throws your hips off and it will throw your balance off. So just find wherever that is. Hugging the legs toward each other. Standing nice and tall. And then the hands can definitely stay in front if this is where the challenge is. Trying to be open and lifted with the chest even here. Or taking those fingers and interlacing behind the back. Holding the shoulder blades together. Stretching the knuckles back for that left heel. Another big breath. Coming back up to a neutral place and then releasing it all. All right. So let's reach up. Gently take yourself over into a fold. Letting yourself hang here for a moment. And then stepping back into down dog. Sliding forward for plank. Let's drop on down to the knees. So here, take the left foot, keeping the knee on the floor, take the left foot over to the left and open the body to the right. So you're in a kneeling side plank. Making sure the four corners of the left hand are comfortable on the mat. Belly's in. Let's lift the right foot and then bend the right knee. Take the right hand and see if you can find your foot. So sometimes it helps to bring it in front or wherever. Pressing the foot into the hand, let the shoulder draw back. and then gently release it all. Coming back to the middle and switching sides, taking the right foot to the right and opening to the left. So the same idea here of making your foundation, lifting the left leg, and then see out the left hand finding the foot. One more big breath. And then we'll release that side. Back to kneeling plank. Sitting back into a child's pose. From your child's pose here, go ahead and slide forward and come out onto the belly. And then really complicated, go ahead and roll over onto your back. So finding your way back to the middle of your mat, of course. And then just take a moment to make sure you feel aligned on your back. Bringing the feet flat to the floor. So here is where you're going to want your prop. And again, whether it's a pillow, a stack of books, making sure they're not slippery, of course, a block, whatever you have handy. We're going to work first, and then we'll get to rest into it. So bring the feet hip bone distance apart. So if your feet are touching, they're too close, and if the heels are at the outsides of your hips, they're too wide. Fairly close to the glutes, but not touching. Bring the arms nice and tight down the sides of your body and pull your shoulder blades together on your back as if we were interlacing our fingers back there again. We want to press down into the triceps. Feel the chest lift a little bit already, right? Pull your heels towards your hips and lift your hips up off the floor. So nice, gentle, little easy bridge, right? You can make it big and fancy if you want to by actually interlacing your fingers, tucking your shoulder blades closer together, lifting your hips a little higher. Just kind of play with it again, and you can make it more or less work. Try keeping the head looking straight up at the ceiling. I don't want to give the neck an ache. And then if you do have a prop here, you can stay higher by using your block at a different height, right? Or just sliding your prop underneath the hip bones back there, right? So you don't want your bum hanging over with your prop at your lower back, so it's making your lower back arch a whole bunch. Okay? But you want to be able to rest the weight of your pelvis right on that prop, whatever it is. And then you can hang out here for a breath or two. If you don't have a prop and you want to just come down, feel free to do that. Working more or less. We're going to take just a couple more breaths here. And then gently release on down. Hanging out with the feet flat on the floor, making sure your spine feels aligned here. And then let's bring the knees into the chest and just rock a little bit. So let's go ahead and take the feet flat then. And we're going to extend the right leg straight up toward the ceiling.
So ideally, keeping the backside as neutral as it is, was, right, with both feet on the floor, with this right leg extended. So again, here you can definitely use a prop, a strap across the ball under your foot, or maybe even just behind your thigh here. If you have just something shorter than you want and you want to use a strap, prop. With the breath, we're going to exhale, pull the right leg in toward the chest a little bit, and then inhale and let it go just a little bit. So like we did earlier, incrementally moving this leg closer and closer to the chest while keeping the backside neutral on the mat. So it's easy to pull this leg in if you let the backside round. We want to try and stay flat and neutral. I'm just going to see where the leg goes, and you'll find where there is no more. And that's where the stretch is. So let's take a couple more like that. And then taking the leg into a neutral place. So ideally the leg is straight, and ideally it's closer to your head than your feet, right? If it's right in line with the hips, that's great, no problem. If it starts to drift down towards your foot, that can be a little challenging. So if that's the case, maybe a little bend in the knee, right? So the belly's working. We're going to extend the left arm, just kind of as a ground here. Support the outside of the leg with your right hand and let that leg start to fall to the right. And we're looking for that place where the backside, that left side especially, starts to lift away from the floor. You want to go just until that starts happening, so you can be nice and even on your back, even here. So don't worry about that right foot touching the floor. It probably won't. Let the arm support the leg so that this inner hip can release. We're going to take another big breath. And then bring that leg back up to the middle again. So here this time, go ahead and bend your knee. And we're thinking about bringing that knee in toward the armpit. And we do this with both feet sometimes, right? So pulling down on the back of your right thigh will bring that leg in toward the chest. And you can move to the side of the body a little bit to bring the knee toward the armpit. So you can hang on to the back of the leg, or you can reach up for the foot. You can use a strap here as well. And we're trying to keep that left shoulder on the floor. So do what you can, pulling down on the foot to draw the knee closer to the armpit, keeping the backside as neutral on the mat as you can. One more big breath. And then we'll gently release, taking that foot flat to the floor. So now we'll do the same idea on the second side, and it could be completely different. So extend the left leg, keeping the backside neutral as we use a strap or just reach back behind the thigh here. Exhaling, pull the leg in a little. Inhaling, let it go a little. Just a gentle little in and out. Just a couple more breaths to find that full stretch. Bringing the left leg into that sort of neutral place, a little stretch, nothing crazy. Extend the right arm out to the right, grounding that side to the floor. Remember to keep the heel at least over the hip, if not towards your head of the hip. Right? So if you need to bend, bend. Taking the leg out to the left, keeping the right hip on the floor. Support with the left hand here. And then try to relax the inner thigh. Bring the leg back up to the middle. Go ahead and bend at the knee. Hug the thigh into the chest, keeping the shin vertical and pulling the knee down in toward the armpit, whether you're holding onto the back of the thigh or the sole of the foot. Working to keep the pelvis even, that right shoulder dropping back, or the left shoulder dropping back, depending on where you're feeling the struggle. And then let's release that leg. Both feet flat to the floor, and if you do need to readjust on your spine, go right ahead. Let's open the arms out into a T position here. Taking the hips over to the left edge of the mat, drop your knees to the right, and let the legs rest. Let the shoulders rest. You can turn and look toward the left hand if you like. Taking just a couple more breaths over on this side. Making your way back to center. Switching to the second side, bringing the hips right and the knees left. Same idea here, just finding alignment, relaxing the shoulders and the legs. And taking just a couple more breaths over on this side. Making your way back to center. And then drawing the knees back into the chest again here. Give it a little rock. And then squeeze those knees in good and tight. Forehead moving toward the knees. Taking a full body stretch. And then releasing the stretch and bringing your arms back down by your sides. Take a moment to align the body. Finding that comfortable position for you. So if you still have a prop and you want to use it here, feel free. When you find that comfortable spot, relax. Release your muscles, you're done for now. Coming back slowly to the breath. Releasing control of the breath. Keeping the mind present by either observing the breath, using a mantra, being present, as relaxed as you can be at this moment. Slowly drawing a deep, cleansing breath, and then let that go. Gradually restoring movement to the body.
ready, taking the feet flat, slowly rolling to the side, gently making your way back up to a seated position. Sitting well, bringing the palms to touch, bowing to the light within. Namaste. So it felt really good to be back. I knew it was a little chaotic and everyone's got stuff, right? So work through it, practice, and hopefully I will see you again here next week. Have a great week. Enjoy your weekend as much as you can, and we'll see you again. Thanks, you guys.